Hello, my name's Lavinia and I'm a member of Lighthouse Church here, and I'm married to David, who's a doctor, and we have 2 children who are now adults. And I want to talk today about how, at a time when we had to make an important decision, God spoke to me and to us through the scriptures. So just to give you a bit of family background, this was in the year 2000. We went to Adelaide in South Australia for 3 months, connected to my husband's work, with our children who were 11 and 13 at the time. When we came back, a bit after that, my husband was offered a job in Adelaide in South Australia. And so that was obviously a big decision to decide whether to stay here in the UK or for a reasonable length of time, if not permanently, move to South Australia. So we prayed and asked the Lord, what should we do? And so at that time, the Lord spoke to me through scripture, which I'm going to read to you. It's a few verses from John, the Gospel of John, chapter 21. And it's in the context of Peter having let Jesus down by denying him just before the crucifixion. And then the crucifixion has happened and the resurrection, and Peter and some of the other disciples have been out fishing. They miraculously caught a lot of fish, and when they landed on the beach, Jesus was there and had cooked them breakfast. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said, "you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again, Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." So it was through those few verses that God spoke to me. And I understood from that the Lord was asking me, first of all, do I love him? I said, "Yes, Lord, I do love you." And then asking me to feed his lambs, particularly, and his sheep. So especially those who are young in faith or needing special support. And so I understood that to mean that we should stay here in Southampton, where I had already established as a family, as a couple and a family, had already established quite deep roots, especially in Lighthouse Church. And so we decided to stay in Southampton, and as things turned out, that was the right decision. My husband was able to continue with his medical research here in Southampton, and very soon after that time, his mother, my mother-in-law, was widowed and came to live with us, and then subsequently my own mother was widowed and again came to live with us, which would have been extremely difficult, if not impossible, had we moved to Australia. So then my husband took that job, which later on led to the job that he's currently in, which is working in medical research in Ethiopia. And so I began together with Jasmine from the church here to run a Bible study group every week in the morning for believers, young believers and others, and especially for those that need extra support. And that group then divided into those speaking Punjabi, which Jasmine has been running since then, and those speaking English, which became the Women's English Bible Study group, which is still going with interruption from COVID. But basically the group is still there. And so that way God nudged me and us into staying here in Southampton and into responding to that calling to do that work for him. And it's been very fulfilling and satisfying, although obviously not easy always, and there are frustrations, but basically under God's sovereignty, hopefully productive. So when you need to be guided, as that experience taught me, first of all you need to ask the Lord, put the question to him, and then trust him that he will answer sometime, somehow, one way or another. So that's my story. Thank you. Goodbye.